Hi, welcome to Mosaics. I am your host, Holly Beach, with the Idaho Office for Refugees. We are just wrapping up season 2 of Mosaics and kicking off season 3 soon. So if you've been listening and following along, thank you so much for your support and for sharing in these stories with us. Today, I'm really excited to be here with Brandee Robles of the Agency for New Americans in Boise. She's the community engagement coordinator there. And Syed Mirbacha, he is a Boise State student and one of the organizers for Pace for Peace. And they have come together to partner up on an upcoming race in Boise called the Run for Refugees. And this is a 5K, and it's also a really fun party in the park on May 24th, and it supports Agency for New Americans. So we are at a time where supporting our refugee resettlement agencies across the country is extra important. A lot of their funding, partnership with the government that they have had for many decades has been paused or cut off. And so, Brandee, I want to start with you and just hear a little bit about what that's been like for Agency for New Americans navigating this.
Sure. So as an agency during election season, we were preparing for the possibility of the new administration that is currently in place right now taking over the Biden administration. So we were just preparing, but we had a lot of hope. And then obviously once the election results were read, we were definitely preparing for something to happen. We just weren't sure how fast it was going to be. We were judging based off of the last 2016 administration. So we were preparing for pretty much our last flights coming into Boise. Our last arrival was, I think, January 15th, around that time. What was really disheartening definitely was seeing we have a board of arrivals, and it's usually jam-packed full. And yeah, in January it was just 3 or 4 families, and we all kind of were like, well, these are going to be our last families for a while. So it was very disheartening. I think ever since that first week of the new administration, it's been really tough to work in refugee resettlement. Just the morale is definitely going down, and we were just like, I don't know what's going to happen. We were discouraged, but also we were ready to do what needed to be done to support our families. Unfortunately, after the fallout of just having a few families come in and all of these policy changes, a lot of our staff had to be let go or reduced hours began, and it really cut back on how we could provide for our families. Now there's only a few of us in the office, and we're trying our best, but it's definitely hard because we're still providing for the 300 plus people that were arrived last year. So yeah, it's definitely been difficult, but I would say community has been very important. And we're going day by day and always looking for those, glimmers of hope that keep us afloat. But it has been difficult. I don't want to say it's been easy, but that's been the reality for us at the agency.
Thank you for sharing that. And just for a little context for listeners, so Idaho has had a resettlement program for 50 years. I think we're celebrating 50 years this year. Mm-hmm. And usually over the last decade, we've kind of had like rises and dips in arrivals, but if you average it out, it's about 800 arrivals a year in Boise and Twin Falls, and from over 20 countries. So it's a really robust, culturally diverse program. And this year we were on track for about 875. And so starting October 1st till today, we've gotten across the state about 470 arrivals. So you have not only arrivals being paused by executive order, but you have a lot of new families who are trying to get on their feet here in a brand new culture that you're still trying to help with limited resources. Mm-hmm. And I think it's cool to see people like Syed and Pace for Peace step in and want to do something to help. Can you talk to us a little bit about your passion with Pace for Peace, Syed, and why you want to help?
Sure. So I want to go briefly about me moving to the United States. I moved here in the United States from Afghanistan in August 2021 was when I left my home country. I had no choice, and me and my family had to leave. And that was a call for me. That was a reminder when I first got here and went to school, high school here, even though I was graduated. And me displacing from my home country reminded me and was a good call for me to do the Pace for Peace. And when I meet my friend Samuel Bisuka, another organizer, I feel like that was when I got displaced and thinking of other people who are being displaced all around the world. What can we do? That was a situation I've been through and experienced, and it's so rough and heartbreaking. So it's time for me to show off and do something for those people because um, I feel so passionate and was telling myself that I don't want to see other people around the world go through the same experiences I've been through when I had to leave my home country. And that's what made me organize the Pace for Peace last year.
Yeah, and last year was so impressive. It was the first time your group had organized the race, and I ran it, and it was super fun. You had inspiring speeches beforehand, and music and flags. It was a really great way for the community to come together, and I was impressed with how much you were able to raise. And I know that time it was for students in the Democratic Republic of Congo, that you were able to send food and resources to them through this local Boise event. And so I'm hoping this year to kind of see that same. It was like a community hug in a time of, we're all facing kind of the stresses of whatever we may be going through. And then coming together like that for just a fun run and music and food was really special. So I'm happy to see it coming together this year for the Run for Refugees. What do you hope, Brandee, to see for that day?
Definitely just to get community together and people that are curious about what's going on. I think people are curious about what's going on and have questions. And what better way, to go to an event with, refugees that have been through it and people that are rallying behind these people and learning more about what's actually going on and how these people are people just like you and I. I just really hope this is an event where we can all learn from each other and support each other. And I think we really need that right now. So I'm really hoping for this event to be something like that, like a community hug, like you said.
Yeah. Syed, what do you hope for that day?
Our last year event was a big success. We had more than 250 people, and looking through the current climate situation of the country and what's happening around the world, it's calling for action and calling for people to wake up. It's a great opportunity that comes with uncertainty. When there is an issue going on, it's a good opportunity for people to remember that we have to share the community and humanity together. And as we said, it's not a run, it's not a 5K. People also can of course, they can run, they can walk, they can jog, they can bike, or they can show up and cheer up the people. But really, it's about the community coming all together, and it's a great opportunity for Idahoans to get to know the refugees, learn about their stories and what they've been through, and how ambitious and talented the refugees are, and their contribution in our community, as we're all neighbors together here in Boise, and it's a really great opportunity, and that's what I'm hoping to see way more than people than last year. Get together, have some fun time, and get to network and connect with each other.
So, how has your life changed since you first got to Idaho to today? And how have you changed?
it's been a long journey for me, leaving my home country and leaving everything behind. As I said, I was graduated from high school, and then I had to go to high school here again. And I had no friends, had to make friends. I had a lot of language barriers and culture barriers, so I had to fit in myself into the new culture, learn the new language, make friends, getting the community. That was really hard for me, but at the same time, I learned a lot and I experienced a lot of great moments and memories from the Boiseans and my friends and the community that have been always here for me. Um, that really motivated me to civic engagement and get to in the community. As we know, mental health is another big issue for the people here, and also the people who are moving to another country as refugees. And one tip that I could give is being active is a really good way to treat our mental health. And that's what I did. I got involved in the clubs, I got involved in the community, and becoming a storyteller and sharing my stories at different events. And I practiced it in a way that was inspiring to other community members, specifically from refugee background and the youths, to do the same thing and follow my path. Um, and that has changed my life a lot.
Yeah, it's cool to see. One thing I've noticed in the community is a lot of times the people leading the charge to welcome and support new neighbors are those who know what it's like to be in their shoes, people who have gone through it. And some of the most like patriotic and thankful people I've ever met, thankful for the freedoms they have, the democracy that we have, are people who came through the refugee resettlement program. They don't take it for granted, and they don't take for granted like what a small act of kindness can mean to someone in that time of their life. Did you have a moment like that in your first year, Syed, about maybe it was a confusing time, a very different time for you, obviously, in your life? Did you have a bright spot or a small moment that somebody kind of helped you feel like you were making your way?
Yeah, absolutely. First week of school, that was a little bit challenging for me, getting to learn a new language, a way different education system and school system here in the United States, and not having a single friend, and going to school very sleepy. That was a very hard time for me at the beginning, but then I had a school community, my counselor and my teachers who supported me through that, and that was the best highlight of my first week, or me first coming here in the United States and experiencing the first steps of how to resettle myself in a new country.
Was there anything culturally that at first kind of bewildered you?
We got a lot of difference in culture, like the way the education system works here. Back in high school, back in my home country, we had to take 16 subjects every year, but here it's so chill, 7 to 8 subjects. And the school timing, school schedule is very long. And also we have separate schools for boys and separate school for girls. That was shocking for me to get here and see they're all mixed. So that was a culture shock for me.
And one more question. Was there anything culturally that you've come to really appreciate? Because now you kind of have, you have your Afghan culture and you have your American culture that you can weave into your life, the strengths that you see from both. Is there anything from the American culture that you've really appreciated?
One common thing that I can share is how welcoming the Boise community is, and same thing how hospitality exists in my home country. That's something I found in common. How my friends at the school and even people that I didn't know, the strangers in the community, were so welcoming and saying hi and smiling at you. that was one thing so kind to that stood up so kind to me that I could share with you.
That's cool. Brandee, what drew you to work in refugee resettlement?
Well, I had just graduated from Boise State with an English literature degree, and I think like my second to last semester, I started taking like global literature and critical theory with global literature, and I really enjoyed reading perspectives from other cultures. I think for me, like in the English lit department, I noticed the lack of global literature in English literature when you're learning here in America. And so my teachers were really inspiring to show me, these different types of literature that I could read. And when I graduated, I was like, I want to do something for the benefit of others. And I think a big inspiration as well is my own family. I'm a first generation American, and my parents moved here from Mexico 27 years ago, and seeing them struggle to adapt was definitely a motivator to help people like my parents. And it was hard to see them try to adapt while I was, growing up here and had the American culture down. So I think they were one of the biggest motivators as well. So yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
How does Agency for New Americans help people adapt, especially in the first 3 months when it's all brand new?
Yeah, so the agency is really, really great at doing holistic care with our families. Something really cool that we have is we have a cultural immersion specialist, Jody Farrow. She's really awesome. We have things like job class and cultural orientation that kind of guide new American families on what it's like living here. And definitely our case managers are there for them every step of the way, every single day, helping them navigate, American culture and like healthcare systems, laws. I think what's really cool about the agency is we have things like our cultural immersion programs, we have our case managers, we have people that do employment, and all of us kind of work together to kind of help settle new American families in their new way of life, or just getting used to how things are here. So, yeah, I just really appreciate the agency's holistic approach to that.
That's very cool. Yeah, I've seen some of the art projects from Jody's class that the women work on, and it's really cool. And one thing I love about it is, even though it's important that people learn, American culture and systems, I do feel like the strength of their cultures that they bring still gets to really shine through. And I think that's made Boise such a fun place to live, because it's like, even in my office, when I walk down the hallway, there's 4 or 5 different countries and many different languages represented just among the people that I get to work with. And so with the global piece that you had mentioned, it's cool to experience, the different holidays that I didn't know about before, and different languages or different ways of phrasing things and seeing the world. I love when my coworkers will share with me or we'll say an idiom in English and they're like, oh, in Ukrainian, this is how you, or, just different ways of thinking and seeing the world. And so I think that's brought a really cool thing to our community. I'm thinking about World Refugee Day too, and people sing and dance and have different clothes and have different things that they sell and different foods that we are lucky enough to have all in one place because of refugee resettlement and people who immigrated other ways. So I like being in that space. It's cool.
Yeah. The first time I tried Afghan food was actually here. And back where I used to live, there wasn't a lot of people from different places. So coming to Boise was actually really awesome to see all the different markets, all the different restaurants that I could try. And I tried most of those foods actually here in Boise. And I was just talking to my partner, and I was like, if there was no refugee resettlement in Idaho, like there wouldn't be any of these places and we couldn't try these places. So I was reflecting on that yesterday, just like being able to try new food and, see the different markets and the different types of snacks that they have. Like, it's just really cool.
Yeah, whenever we table at an event, we go to Foodland Market, which I think it's owned by an Iraqi family, I believe. And they have all these cool different candies. And the kids, when we show them with the kids at our tabling event, like they've never seen it or heard of it, but it's just fun to get to share something from a different part of the world. How have you experienced that in your group, Sayed? Like, because you're friends with people from all over the world. Like even the organizers of Pace for Peace represent a lot of different countries in that group. So what has that been like for you?
That's something unique stood up to me experiencing in the U.S. The diversity and getting to know people from all over the world and getting to learn about their culture. And I'm a language guy. I am really passionate and interested to learn new languages and try new cultures and foods. And of course, with the Pace for Peace, that was something unique we brought up to have people from all over the world represent and be a part of the Pace for Peace, which makes it more powerful. Each of them show up with their own unique talents and skills on the table, and we can make a lot of progress. And my friends, I'm at the school and in the community. I don't know if I mentioned this. I'm also part of the Multilingual Student Alliance at Boise State, where it's welcome to everyone, all the student faculty and community at Boise State who are sharing their cultures. And we get together, celebrate holidays, and get to learn about special holidays from different cultures, different religions. And also outside of Boise State, I do go a lot and restaurants to try their food. Like I go to Goodnessland or Foodland, I try chicken shawarma, or I go to Amina's or African restaurants to try samosas, fufu, and other foods. And that's something really unique that exists here. And with the support of resettlement agencies, and a great opportunity to see those families who've came here, same as me now, they have their own business. And it's an opportunity for other community members to get to know about other people's cultures and get to have the opportunity to try different foods from all over the world. It's a bless.
So you're in college now, you have a year left. What do you hope for yourself after that? Because I know your life, did a 180 at a time that you weren't expecting that to happen. And so now that you've kind of been here for a little bit, what are your dreams for yourself going forward?
I was dreaming to go to medical school and become a doctor or a surgeon. And since what I've been passionate about and what I've been experienced, that changed my decision temporarily, where I decided to change my major from health and science to global studies. And then I added a minor in humanities and cultural studies on the top of that. And my two certificates, human rights and leadership, are all the educational side that really I get to learn a lot from them and then apply them in my community work. And I got a year left, and after that I'm gonna apply to go to grad school and hopefully doing something related to medical school, but still staying in the humanities side of it and being involved in my community. But my educational milestone will end up going to medical school, and that's something I'm passionate about.
I didn't know that about you. That's cool.
Yeah.
Very cool. And for Afghanistan, what do you hope for the future of your home country?
I'm hoping to be able to go back one day or have the opportunity to give back to my home country and help the people that are surviving there, especially the women who are not having the equal opportunities as men. They're not that free. Uh, they don't have the educational opportunities, and there's a lot of other issues going on, like the poverty, education right. It's not the same for women and men, and at the same time, men are also struggling because they have to feed their family and they have to take care of themselves, and it's been taken away their educational opportunity from them, where they have one choice whether they have to go to college, if they have the opportunity, the financial opportunity for that. If not, they have to work and escape going to college or high school. Like, even you see the kids are walking on the street and trying to make some money to feed their family by the end of the day. So hopefully, hoping to see other people joining me and I'm able to do something for my home country.
What's something you really value about where you grew up and the values that you learned from it?
You see how people are hospitable and kind to each other. We have a lot of difference of people from different background and ethnicity, and we're all living in one community together. Same here in the U.S. You see the diversity, people coming from all over the world, and we have same thing in my home country. How people are so hospitable and kind to each other, and share one value and one name, like being an Afghan, and one community and one country is something unique and showing the union of the Afghan people, and how they're all passionate to support each other and give back to their home country.
I've heard some people talk about Afghan New Year. Was that a big day for your community? Or what was like some of the bigger times when your community would all come together and celebrate something?
We have the New Year, we call it Nowruz,
Nowadays?
which is the start of New Year in my country. And we have the two Eid celebration, which Afghanistan is a Muslim country. They do practice Eid, and that's a unique way of celebration all around the world, where people from all different ethnics, background, different colors come together and celebrate a happy and blessed day all together and share kindness and love. That's something I really love about my home country and my people.
That's cool. Brandee, from working in resettlement, are there any cultural shifts or things that you've learned or observed about your own way of looking at the world that have been like challenged or shifted just from doing this work?
Yeah, I mean, I think stereotypes are something that definitely challenged, you know, when I first went into resettlement work. Definitely, like, my perception was like that all Muslim women wore head coverings, and talking to like Yasmin, who is our assistant director, she's like, no, like, I'm Muslim and I don't do that. And I think for me, I just never grew up around anyone that was Muslim or anyone that was, from that area of the world. So it was cool to see just how different people practice, or how different people practice like the same religion. And I guess something that is also really interesting is listening to all of the different languages. At first I was like, I wonder, what that is, or like, it sounded similar to something that, like Arabic. But I knew that when I started working in resettlement, I was like, oh, there's languages like Farsi and Dari, and I didn't even know about that. I just grouped them all together and to be like, oh, they speak Arabic, maybe. So definitely I became more aware of all these differences that people had and what made them unique. And I'm really grateful for that, because I feel like I can just respect, people and appreciate their culture. And I would say those were probably the two biggest things that I was like, whoa, I didn't know that was how it worked, or that, not all Muslim women wear head coverings. So it was really good to get these perspectives, because if I wasn't, if I didn't work in resettlement, or I wasn't, oh my gosh, what's the word I'm trying to say? Like, exposed to different types of people, I wouldn't have known. I would have continued to believe the biases or stereotypes that I had. And yeah. Yeah.
That's really cool. I think for me, one thing I realized, especially doing mosaics and just talking to so many people, was how like rushed and time-based our society can be here. Mm-hmm. It's like, it's got to be on my calendar app, or I probably will forget. And it just gets so like going from one place to the other. And just like how I feel like some certain other cultures aren't as kind of based around like time that way, like how you use your time or save your time or maximize your time. Like it felt a lot more in the moment. Like, have you noticed any of that too?
Yeah. I mean, I guess coming from like a Latino background, I think, we were always like, yeah, we're going to take a lunch, and it's like 2 hours because you just want to talk to your friends. But like here, it's like, I got to eat in 30 minutes and then I have to go back to work. Or I've noticed like some families, and they have an appointment like at 10, and it's like 11, and they're just like, well, I was doing this, so that I would just come in anyway. And it's funny to see that difference. And it's another perspective of like, they're having to adapt to the way that we look at time, and the importance of it here, like especially for medical appointments.
Yeah.
But it's interesting, and I definitely have noticed that a lot.
Are there anything else that you have wanted to like make known to the broader community about what resettlement is, like what it means to be someone who's, a refugee status individual coming in? Is there anything you would like people to understand a little bit better about that?
Sure. Whenever I do my volunteer orientations, I kind of always just end with like, these are just people. We're all human, and we all want safety and kindness and love and happiness, like bottom line. Mm-hmm. And I think with the just all the labels and people being afraid of people they don't even know or haven't even met, it's really hindering those people to get to know someone who has different ideas, different culture. And I always just tell, volunteers or anyone that I work with, like, you just have to get to know someone before you judge them. And judging an entire group of people for one person's action is just, you wouldn't want someone to do that to you. Mm-hmm. Or to your culture or family or whatever. So definitely I always just want people to know, like, we're working with people, and they deserve safety and happiness and kindness, and that's what we want to give them when they come through our doors. Mm-hmm. And this is not political work. This is humanitarian work. And we've been welcoming people into the United States for years and years. Like you were talking about your grandparents coming in, my parents came 27 years ago. Some people may have come 2 years ago, but, that welcoming energy that the United States has, like, it's very important. And I think that's why people dream to come here. And I think we need to show that we still do care about people and providing them happiness and safety and comfort.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that reinforcement, like, yes, you're welcome here. Yes, you're wanted here. Mm-hmm. And I think also, too, sometimes the word refugee, I think, becomes almost like almost heroizing, is that a word? Making someone into a hero, which obviously what they've gone through is a lot, and like the strength that it takes to keep going. But I also think giving the space to struggle or like have a bad day or be sad or like mess up. Like I want also be like, hey, if you belong to a community, that means you also don't have to have like your best face on all the time. Like we focus a lot about self-sufficiency and refugee resettlement, which I think is people want self-sufficiency. They want agency in their lives. But I also think just how hard that would be to have to just like jump in and all of a sudden your rent is like half your income and you're just like plucking away every day. And just like we're all human, right? Like that's not worse, not better, just humans trying to make it through together. And so that's something that's kind of stuck out to me. What about you, Syed? Anything that you want people to better understand, like the experiences of refugee resettlement or the community itself?
It takes a village. It's not that easy. As I said, as you mentioned, people have like a sad day or a happy day, and that's fair. That's what refugees are going through, like leaving their home country and getting to resettle here. It's not easy, and being here for them and supporting them and making sure they're getting the support they need is really, really important.
And one way to support, I know, is the Run for Refugees. Can you share a little bit about how people can be involved? And is it the kind of race where you just, the money comes from your entrance fee, or is it the kind of race, I know some races you try to like raise money through other ways. Like how does it work?
Yeah, so for this one, we are welcoming everyone. We have different levels. If businesses or organizations are interested and passionate to help us out with our mission, we have different level of a sponsorship. They can sponsor us, or they can go to the Agency for New American website and purchase their ticket. We have a student discount ticket, and we have team run discount. Or if they are not able to make it to the run, or we had people from other states, from California and Utah, who signed up to the last Space for Peace run last year, and they purchased their ticket, and then they're recording themselves all over from California running.
Oh, cool.
To show their solidarity with us. That's a cool way where people can still participate or donate to the refugee resettlement, to ANA. And it's going to help refugees to be able to participate and run and have some fun time.
Cool. So if someone wants to sign up, is anaidaho.org the best place? And then you can go to the events page.
Yeah, there's a under the events, it has Run for Refugees, and you'll just click it. And on that webpage, it has like who's going to vendor there. So Mama G's will be there.
What's that?
There, Mama G's.
Mama G.
Oh, Mama G's.
Yeah.
I've had Mama G's.
Yeah.
That's African, right?
Yeah.
African food.
Mama G's will be there. Realms Arcade is actually DJing for us.
Oh, cool.
So we've been partnering with them. I know the team has been gathering gift baskets to either raffle off or give us prizes. So all of that information is on our website, and you'll be able to purchase tickets through there.
Okay. So May 24th, Veterans Memorial Park. And what time does it start? It's
going to be 3:30 to sunset.
Okay. So party all evening.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's fun. Well, I appreciate you both coming on and sharing about this with Mosaics. Is there anything you'd like to add before we go?
Just can't wait to see you there. Honestly, we're really, really excited to work with Pace for Peace, and I think it'll be a really great event and an opportunity for people to meet other people they've never met before and rally with each other and just be in community.
And I will say, I think the proceeds are being prioritized for like rent and utilities for newcomers, right, who had their welcome funds cut off?
Yeah. So all of the proceeds for any of our fundraising is directly for families, which is really great. Right now, it's definitely rental assistance as always, and any medical needs that anyone might need, any unexpected incidents that may happen with families, and all of that money is just there to support them. And yeah, 100% of the proceeds will go to families.
That's cool.
Excited to see you all. Follow Pace for Peace 5K on Instagram and purchase your tickets. We also have a partnership with Bandana Running Shoes. If you get to purchase your ticket and go to Bandana, you get a 15% discount from Bandana to purchase running shoes and socks.
That's so cool. I might have to do that. My running shoes are donezo. So that's such a cool deal. I love that. So Bandana. All right. Well, thank you both, Syed, and Brandee. Thanks so much. Appreciate it. Thank you for joining the conversation. For more information on how to be involved with refugee resettlement, please visit idahorefugees.org. Mosaics is produced by the Idaho Office for Refugees with grant support from the M.J. Murdoch Charitable Trust. Music by the Afrosonics. Production in partnership with SB Studios.